Psyche Truth. Life, wisdom.
Hi, I'm Catherine Elizabeth, and welcome to Day 8 of my 10-Day Flexibility Challenge. Today we'll be revisiting some of the same strength and flexibility building exercises that we've been working on this past week and adding advanced modifications. Let's get started. So let's go ahead and just start by loosening up our shoulders. Clasp your arms behind you and just stretch out your chest here. I have to say I'm wearing this lovely pink leotard given to me by Block and Move and Easy Dancewear, and I really love it. I think it's a gorgeous Leo with a gorgeous color, but as a kid I was not so much into pink. I didn't really like wearing pink when I was younger, but as I grew older I learned to appreciate it. So I'm wondering, where do you guys stand on the color pink? Love it or hate it? Leave me a comment, let me know. Let's take it to the floor for our ab exercises. Go ahead and lie down on your mat, nice and easy, with your knees hip width distance apart. Now we're going to just start with our basic crunch. I think it's important to return to this just so we can access those lower abs, pull them back into the spine, and connect our breath to our ab work. So we're just going to place our hands right behind our ears, thumbs facing down. We're going to pull our elbows away from our ears, our shoulders away from our ears as well. We just want to be very relaxed in the neck. And on an exhale, you're going to push all of the air out of your lower belly, trying to keep it as tight as possible around that belly button area. You almost want to think of it like squeezing the last little bit of toothpaste out of the tube. So on the exhale, you empty your lungs, especially down in the lower ab area, and use that newfound tightness in your waist to lift up securely from the floor. So again, we inhale, exhale all the air out, and just isolate your abs and contract them, lifting your head just a few inches off the floor. No need to reach for your knees here. You also want to think of keeping your spine, your lower back on the floor as much as possible, and rolling up one vertebra at a time. Challenge yourself to see how small you can make those lower abs on your way up. And this isn't about sucking in or trying to make your stomach look as small as possible. This is all about compacting your core, making it very dense and very stable so that it can support you when you start doing compound movements. And I always keep my gaze just on the ceiling. It reminds me to extend my neck nice and long. Let's just do a few more of these here. And relax. Let's take that feeling and bring it to our one leg ab pull-ups. So we have our right leg extended perpendicular to the floor. Our left leg is just floating a couple inches off the mat. We're going to take our left fist, palms facing down. We're going to reach for our left ankle. On the exhale, same idea as the crunches. This time you can tuck your chin a little bit. Think of having a tennis ball sized space between your chin and your chest. And you can just gently pull on that right thigh with your right hand. Again, this exercise is really good for finding functionality in your abs while your legs are busy doing other things. Just a couple more here. Exhale up, inhale down, up, and last one. Go ahead, switch legs. Right foot floats up above the mat a few inches, left leg is perpendicular, toes are pointed, legs are straight, right palm faces the floor, tuck the chin just slightly, pull on that left thigh, and we exhale up. Again, fighting the urge to twist out from your hips, to roll over onto one shoulder more than the other. And just a few more here. Last time up, exhale, and bring it back down. Good job. Okay, now we're going to place our palms against our mat. We're going to extend our legs out in front of us, toes pointed. Now, exhale all of your air out, pulling your lower back close to the mat, as close as possible. And now we're going to just crisscross our legs, leading with our heels inward. So we're externally rotated from the hips, and we're just crossing our heels. Bring it up to perpendicular to the mat, and slowly bring it down. Now you'll probably find that as you approach the lower end of the mat, that's going to be the most difficult, whereas if you bring them closer to that perpendicular position, it's starting to get a little bit easier. So if you want, you can float it about a foot off the mat for more of a challenge. Keep it here longer, or just continue going back and forth, up and down for the full range. Try to keep your lower back from arching as much as possible. And see how straight you can make your legs and how pointed you can make your toes. You might be feeling this in your inner thigh, maybe your quadriceps, but definitely in your lower abs. One more time up. And we're just going to hover it here for 3, 2, 1, and relax. Nice job. And now that our abs are nice and warm, we can take them to stabilize our bodies in plow position. So come to the end of your mat, roll back until your hips are just about over your shoulders here. Now you can drop immediately. You can drop your toes right behind you, aiming for a flexed foot, or you can remain parallel to the mat. This is our first plow of the day, so just roll around a little bit, see what is tight, see what needs to just be mobilized. Sometimes I like to do one foot at a time, pressing through the heel, pressing my arms into the mat. Meanwhile, this just gets my hamstrings a little bit loosened up. And now we're ready for forward fold. Chest to the knees. And bring it back to plow. Now from here, I want to wake up my glutes by pressing them forward as I straighten into candlestick or shoulder stand. Now I can feel that I'm a little bit tight here in my hips today, so I'm just going to drop them while still contracting my glutes. I'm dropping my heels to increase the stretch in the front of my leg and engaging my glutes as so I can increase that stretch. Bring it back down to plow momentarily. And now we're just going to go for a full shoulder stand. This time, if you want to add an advanced modification, if you're pretty close to the top here, point those toes hard and extend your arms upward. See if you can do this. Do it with no hands. Now, if you find that you are not quite a straight line, I would go through this mental checklist to make sure that you are squeezing your thighs in, engaging your glutes and pushing your hips forward, pointing your toes toward your heels, towards the back wall, and always extending upward through the spine. Just want to strive to be getting taller every time. And on the exhale, just increase that line, increase that stretch through the front of the hip. And bring it down with control when you're ready. Nice. Now that our spines are nice and warm, we're ready to try that back bend. Come to the center of your mat. Prepare for the full back bend with fingertips facing the body, palms facing down, just right outside your shoulders. Legs slightly wider than hip width distance apart. And on an exhale, we push up right into our back bend, gazing between our fingertips. And now today, if you're ready to go for an advanced modification, come to your tiptoes, walk your toes in. Now, fighting to maintain your legs in a pretty parallel position, you're going to shift your weight to your left foot and just lift the right foot off for a few moments. Feel what it's like to balance there. And come back down to heels. Shift to your right toe. Same thing here, pushing through your hands. Just feeling what it's like to place your weight on one foot. And that's enough for now. Put your heels on the ground, return to the floor. We'll do that one more time. Just rest for a moment, nice deep breath. Let the blood come back to your head, or come away from your head, I suppose. And go ahead and reset for number 2. On an exhale, we push it up to back bend. Walk the toes in. Press your weight into your hands as much as possible. Really pushing the hips to the sky. Now we're balancing on our right toe. And go ahead and lift that left leg up. Just feeling what that's like. Bring it to the floor. And switch to your left foot balancing. and return it to heels and back down to the floor. Nice job. I know that's not easy. And now we're going to go right into a hamstring stretch to prepare for our splits. Come to knees at the center of your mat. Put your right leg out in front of you. Foot is flexed. Hips are in one line connected to each other. Try not to twist open. As you lead with your chest on an exhale and pointed right foot down to the knee. Go ahead and flex and point that foot, pulling the right hip back as you flex, but trying to leave the left hip where it is. So you don't rock back both, you only rock back the front leg hip. And go ahead and switch it out. Left foot front. Foot is flexed at first. Right hip is right over the right knee. Pulling the left hip back as you flex and point. Again, you don't want both hips to rock back. You really want to just try to retract the left one as you flex. The right one stays nice and forward over the knee, stacked on top of the knee. Good. Switch it back to your right foot forward. This time, we're going to go for a pigeon. So we're aiming that arch of our foot right at our left hip bone here. And today we're going to add a little bit of an advanced challenge. So once you've established your pigeon with your knee right in front of your navel, you can go ahead and swing back your left arm. Grab that foot if you can, and using that same principle that we've been using in dancer's pose, push the hand away with the foot. You're not just pulling on the leg with the hand, you're fighting it with your foot, and that push is going to really stretch the top of your quadriceps there, and your hip, the front of your hip. So as you push, see if you can also seat your right hip back down on the mat and return your body to face the midline. So you should be looking straight ahead. Keep pushing with that left foot. I like to push on an inhale and just sort of hold my breath for a few seconds. Exhale and let that release happen. You'll just feel a little bit more flexible with every breath. Now for a slightly different stretch, you can turn your body more to the side and do that same pull. This time you're going to drive that left hip. You're going to rotate it forward. So you're getting a little bit deeper in the front of the quadriceps here. Just bringing that hip, trying to pull it to your side. Continue to push that hand. It'll help protect your joints. And you can let that go. Take it to the other leg. So I have my left foot in front, starting with regular pigeon. Left arch of the foot is at the right hip. Stretching that back leg behind me nice and straight. Sort of rolling around. This hip is a little bit tight today. Just gently easing it towards the mat while trying to keep my body center facing forward. Now I am going to go for this additional challenge today. So I'm going to wrap my right arm back. I'm going to grab that right foot. I'm going to push it away. Push my right hand away with my right foot. Resist myself. So I'm kicking as I pull, trying to keep my hips as square and centered as possible, refocusing my gaze forward, and again, driving that front hip down towards the mat as I kick. And I'm going to bring it to that side stretch now, so I'll face the inside. Just balancing on the shin of my front leg. Now, there's a temptation to sort of stick your seat out like that once we start on this side stretch, but fight to stay over that supporting leg. And just roll the back hip, that right hip inward, down towards the mat as you pull it into your side. Never just pulling on the leg, always resisting with the foot. Good, and bring it back to center. So now that our hip flexors are nice and warmed up, we're ready to go into our splits. Now, today I wanted to add an advanced option for those of you who want to push it a little bit further. I'm going to grab a towel and I'm actually going to elevate my front leg. So these are called over splits, and you can do it with either the front or the back leg lifted. And what it does is create a space between your pelvis and the mat. So your body wants to actually go beyond the horizontal 180 degree splits position into something a little bit further. Now, if you can do this, regular splits are a piece of cake. So I'm going to start with my right foot front. I'm going to place my heel on my elevation, whatever I'm using. Today I'm using a towel, and you can increase or decrease the height of this. And I'm going to slide my back leg back to an almost split position. Now, once you start approaching a place that starts to feel like a stretch, you want to reevaluate your hips. Make sure you're not turning out too much or that one hip is twisted out to the side. Try to stay nice and center. Put your weight center, and then you can slide farther down. Now, with these over splits, since I'm on a little bit of an incline, the tendency is to push my weight back on my leg, so I need to counter that by staying forward. So these over splits are deepening the stretch that I'm feeling along the glutes on my right leg, and it's definitely challenging me not to twist inward to go over my left hip too much. I'm just incorporating the same principles of the regular splits, of always feeling like I'm stretching my feet away from each other in opposite directions, staying tall, keeping my shoulders down, my neck relaxed, and analyzing it to see if there's one long line, if everything looks parallel. Okay. So I'm feeling pretty good on my right leg. Let's go to our left. Let's just push out of that using your hands. You're going to place your left leg same way, left heel on that towel, and you can use your support to push to help push you into the splits if you like. Okay, so now I'm getting closer to a stretch, so I'm making sure everything's angled properly, that my left hip is pulled back, and I can go a little bit farther down, keeping my weight forward since my left leg is lifted. Okay, so now making sure I'm not rolling out too far. My right hip is a little tight, so I am walking in a little bit here, just like we did in previous videos. Just giving a little extra love to that right hip flexor. Now I can return it to center. Make sure my weight is center. And that feels a little bit better. Okay, just extending those legs far from each other. And you are welcome, if you can, to lift your hands up. See where your weight is. Sometimes if we lift our hands up, we'll roll to one side or another. So it's a good opportunity to learn and see how we might want to correct our position. So I'm just going to take a few deep breaths here, straighten those legs, and push up when I'm done. And take the mat with you, or not. Okay, good job. So now we raise our hands above our heads, index fingers together, arms are right behind our ears, shoulders are down, pulled away from the ears. Extend your left foot back, toes are pointed. Try not to open up from the hip, everything is parallel and facing forward. We inhale up, stretch our spines upward, and in one piece, we hinge. Our gaze is ahead of our mat on the floor, and we drive our body forward using our back heel. Returning to center with grace and control. Extending the right foot back, toes pointed. We pull up through the spine, and our right heel pushes up, pushes our upper body forward. Our gaze is forward a few feet, looking at the floor, and our index fingers pull our arms forever forward. And we bring it back to center. Let's try that one more time, now that we're nice and warmed up. Left leg goes to the back, toe is pointed. We lift up out of the spine, shoulders are down, gaze is forward. Left heel rises, pushes us to a horizontal line. And we bring it back. See if round two is a little bit more graceful. On the right side, extend that right foot back. Nice deep breath. Inhale, stretch up. On the exhale, right foot pushes our body up, pushes our leg up, which in turn brings our upper body forward. Our gaze is on the floor. Fingers are extended. Left leg is strong. And bring it back to center. Good job. We're going to bring that idea to our dancer's pose. Let's go ahead and just shake out any tension. And go ahead and grab that left leg with the left hand. Thumb is facing upward towards the sky. We're grasping the inner ankle. And then you can move that hand up to the arch of your foot, the instep, the top of the foot in the middle there. Now we bring our legs back to center, thighs touching. Our hand goes up, right by our ear. And as we push our hand away with our foot, our eyes peer right over our hands, aiming to get that foot up over our heads. And bring it back with control. Let's do the same thing on the right. So we're going to grasp our right ankle from the inside with our right hand. Thumb is facing up. We bring the thigh back into center. They're touching each other and our hips are parallel. Our right hand is on the instep of our right foot. We raise the left hand up, and as we push our right hand away with our right foot, our gaze tracks right over our fingertips, which are palm down and parallel to the floor. And you keep pushing through that back leg and bring it back with control. Good job. You can repeat that if you like. Maybe go a little bit deeper, a little bit more graceful each time. The first one's usually a little bit trickier. For now, we'll leave the dancer's pose there, and let's try something new. This is a new challenge. It's going to prepare you for your back bend. For today's final challenge, I want you guys to get used to the back bend walkover movement. So you can see that I've rearranged the room a little bit. I just have something a little bit raised. This is going to be my support. It's a little bit easier than pushing off from the floor. So what I'm going to do, and you can use the edge of a bed. That's what I like to use the most. For now, I'm using this lovely ottoman. I'm going to take my position here as though I were in a full back bend. I'm just going to put my upper body over this edge, putting my weight right into my hands as though I'm already in the back bend. And I'm going to push up through my feet, walk to the edge, and using those bear crawl arms, those nice strong arms, just going to kick over and stand. So this is really where all of these skills that we've been working on, this is where they're going to come into play. That strength in your upper back, the flexibility in your hamstrings, that mobility, being able to use one leg at a time separately while still maintaining a central and neutral position of the pelvis. All of this is going to come to play when we do these back bend walkovers. So practice this a few times. Like I said, the edge of your bed is a great place. So is a couch, as long as you're in a nice, safe area with no, sharp objects or cactuses around. So go ahead and try that a few more times. I'm going to do it once more, just so you can see. And I'm going to try to kick over with my other leg this time. You always want to aim for symmetry. So I have a little bit less than half of my upper body coming over the edge here. So from here, I'm going to get into my back bend the same way I would as if I were on the floor. So I walk my hands in, I push through my heels, and I'm walking my tiptoes as close to my head as I can. And now I can just use momentum to kick over. So here we go. Great job, you guys. I hope you enjoyed that last challenge. Like I said, the edge of your bed is a great place to do it. Something a little bit firmer is going to make it a little easier to push off from your feet. And you're always welcome to go a little bit wider than your hips when you're placing your feet for that position. So thank you so much for watching. You've made it to the end of day 8. Keep working on these poses. If you need to do dancer's pose a couple more times, airplane pose, do what makes you feel good. Do what you feel like, what needs work for you. Everybody's body is different. We're all going to have different challenges on different days. But I am so proud of you guys for making it this far, and I will see you on day 9.